All right, guys. I was just kind of noodling around there. So tonight, like you guys saw, I was kind of focusing a little bit on the split, trying to play bass with one and lead on the other. I think it worked out pretty well. Um, as far as who we have here, I think we have Lamar, Lamont, and Sean. Sean, good to see you. Catching up on chat a little bit. Yep, I think that's about everybody. Hey, thanks. Yeah, this is just a lot of fun. I didn't prepare a lot of sequencing or anything like that. It was just trying to get a little more hands-on and get more left-right hand stuff going on. My left-hand bass playing obviously is not all that great. It works, but I'm definitely better with two hands or right-handed for all of the instrument, but I'm trying to get at least a little bit better about thinking not just monophonically with everything or building up chord structures. I don't know, still pretty fun. I definitely getting into the muscle memory habits of some of my melody lines on the instrument now, and I think I want to try in the future to break that and practice a few more patterns. Bringing in a little bit more of the sixths stuff that we were talking about on bass the other day. So on lead, the sixths are something to kind of, I've been playing around a little bit, trying to get a feel for it to, I don't know, maybe figure out some of my own riffs to kind of bring in for some faster stuff. But so it kind of fits in there. As far as instruments go and all that, if we go over to Bitwig here, the bass here is from Ample, and it's just the Ample P bass light. So I haven't got a super big bass emulation VST, but it does the job with a little bit of EQ, I think. Maybe a little bit Seinfeldy. All right, and then next after the bass, we have electric guitar. And the electrical guitar, again, is from Piano Tech and Guitar Rig. Let's see, Sean's saying, I like the whole experimentation idea for Jamuary because it seems like a great developmental exercise to try out stuff, test ideas, whatever. Yeah, so I think the way I'm approaching Jamuary, at least, is trying to nightly or daily put in the effort to just kind of explore different things. I know I kind of focus a little bit on the instrument and in the box stuff, but kind of just to see what you can throw together and kind of push it. A lot of times when I'm sitting in my in front of the synthesizer, I might get stuck in synthland and play a whole bunch on the sequencing side on the Metropolix and get a whole bunch of plucks going and yada yada, and it's fun, but it's not really exploring what I can do with the Euro rack as far as performance. And so I'm trying to, like I said, figure out the splits, figuring out what elements of the Euro rack I want to bring in, what I want to play on lead, where my good lead lines are coming from. And obviously I like the breath control, and I like the pitch expression I have on the instrument. Yeah, trying to figure it out. All right, and so let me just show you a little bit on the piano tech side. And you can kind of see here, the first thing in my chain is actually a channel filter, and the channel filter is splitting my instrument in half. So I have two MPE controls, one for 1 through 8, one through 9/16, and that'll be the two splits here. So that works out pretty well. And in that case, after that, it goes into piano tech here. And piano tech is hidden behind my face a little bit. There we go. This is just an overdriven E-piano here that I just think sounds super good here for the E-piano. So anyway, yeah, the E-piano I think just sounds really good with piano tech. One thing to note about the instrument is that the velocity sensitivity is not quite as smooth as a nice key bed is, but it's just a silicone pad, and you kind of have to rely on your finger repeatability, and the repeatability of the velocity is not the same. So you can see here on this velocity line. You know, I'm trying to get it to come across exactly the same velocity, and I can get pretty close in the middle, and I can, you know, so I have a little bit of control, but it's definitely not the same as a good piano, you know. So another thing to note is I'm still playing on the grid, and so a lot of like my keyboard memory or guitar memory going over to this in the different instruments is always kind of interesting. It's crazy. I try and tell my wife when I'm playing one instrument or the other, it's like I have to translate the melody that I have in my head from one key system to the other. And it's sometimes, especially when you've like learned a melody in, I don't know, like the flute or something like that, and you're trying to play it on the grid. Sorry, I got some background noise here. Sorry, they're doing stuff in the kitchen. All good. Anyway, yeah, switching between the instruments and trying to get from like flute to piano to instrument. A lot of times I have to like convert in my head from like saxophone or flute into almost like a piano style for the chords or whatever. And from then going into instrument. And so it's always kind of a little bit of a mind fuck. So that's piano tech and the E-piano. Next I have breath, and in this case I have another kind of hidden channel above this group. So as far as my Bitwig project goes, I have the music folder, which has everything I'm playing with Jamuary, and then I have two things. I have the microphone here that I'm talking on, and I have my breath input, and the breath input is is here and is just a hardware instrument going out into my Euro rack that is playing, in this case, the Numar again. So that, though, gets put to a bus. It doesn't get put to a master. And then inside the music folder here, if I enter again, that bus then gets routed, in this case, to breath 1 here. And I do it this way so that I can do multiple audio tracks, and it kind of pulls all from the same breath input, so I can do the different layers really easy without having them step on each other. So kind of, I don't know, not needed, but it kind of works. And in this case, I'm actually doing the reverb in the Euro rack, and the Euro rack is Starlab for the reverb this case. And then again, it's Numar, which is the kind of the sine wave guy, or sawtooth wave, going into a flanger, and the flanger into a fold module, and the fold module into the reverb, and reverb into the audio interface. So it allows me to bring in lots of chorus there. And again, the Starlab can get really huge and is a really great reverb that I love. So I'll turn that way up here for you guys. You can just hear that Starlab when it's all cranked up is just beautiful. Still going. Love the tail on the Starlab. So good. Anyway, so reverb in the box in this case for the lead. And then along with the lead this time, I had this guy here. And this... Turn Starlab bit down a little bit. This patch is a native Bitwig instrument, and it's kind of it's a digital pad. I mean, it's basically a sample player, and it's playing this kind of weird ARPy thing. And that was kind of in there every once in a while, but together with the breath control, it's kind of interesting because you can blow on it, right? And the pitch latches on the instrument, so when I let go, it still keeps the same pitch. So, right? But the ARP guy from this native Bitwig instrument is only there if I have the keys pressed down. So that can kind of be a fun effect to play with. And last but not least, I have wind, and wind is again from my Eurorack system from I think last night, maybe the night before, where I have the Pittsburgh Modular SV1 doing a bit of white noise, wind noise, and then it's actually going into Bitwig here, and we're just having a filter bank kind of modulate back and forth and kind of give the nice, wind sound. So yeah, that was all of tonight. And like I said, I didn't do a lot of like live looping or layering tonight. I was just trying to play a little more left hand, right hand stuff with the wind synth. So yeah, kind of worked out. And one thing you guys can't see, because you can only see my hands and my head here, is down below I have the new Elgato foot pedal that has the 3 pedals. And I can assign MIDI things or Stream Deck things. So in this case, I can press a button with my foot, and I can switch from the overhead to Bitwig view all, with my foot. And then because there's 3 buttons, I have a track stop and a track record and overdub button. So from here, with just my foot now, I have the sustain or the synths, and I have and so while I'm playing the E-piano stuff, with my right foot I can hold down the sustain, and with my left foot I can control the camera here or start and stop loop points. So to me that is a really cool functionality that I'm adding, and I still need to get like the muscle memory of being able to start the loop points while doing all this, but kind of a nice thing to have. Sean says it's like magic because people don't use their breath the same way, and you don't need an envelope, so you can totally shape the notes with the filter, long, short, staccato, whatever. Yeah, it's hard to explain for people who aren't woodwind players the difference of expression that the breath will do. There is a cat meowing ferociously. I'm sorry. So when I'm playing the breath, and like you said, you can do like growls. So which basically allows you to do like audio rate modulation through breath. And you can't do that with MIDI CC controllers, only with like the analog breath, because it's like true audio rate, right? It's like a little microphone basically playing into here. And again, the Pulp Logic breath control module, which I'm using here for this, when I first got it, the breath signal was like way low passed versus what I wanted. So basically you couldn't flutter tongue, you couldn't growl and all that. It was all low passed out. So I got a hold of the manufacturer and verified what part of the circuit was the low pass circuit. And I tried changing the filter capacitors down to a lower value, but what I ended up doing is actually just removing them, and there's no more low pass filtering on there. And I think it really opened up the articulations for the Pulp Logic breath control. So, I don't know, super fun. And then, of course, just for melodic lines, it really helps with phrasing. Now that you couldn't play that phrase on just a key bed, but what it does is force you to think more in like breath, right? So it naturally kind of makes a melodic line that fits in a phrase. which I think leads to very nice melodies. Tresto says that his flutes are very sensitive. Are we talking about real flutes, or are we talking about synth flutes? Because I have not heard you play the real flutes yet, but if you do actually play real flutes, I am very interested to hear them. Another thing that I'm very used to with the actual flute is that you have vibrato on the flute that's actually more of a tremolo, right? So and you don't get that with I don't know, like mod wheel pitch bend or anything like that. And even if I do, the Synth instrument has great pitch control. If I do that same kind of line, but straight with breath and do the vibrato with the instrument, it sounds considerably different. And of course, you can combine them. Anyway, Sean knows way more about getting really good breath sounds on synthesizers. His stuff is amazing. If you check him out, he's doing really good in the box VST, VCV type stuff, and get some really great sounds. I'm kind of more of a purist, I guess, as far as my instrument goes. For woodwind, I almost always have just like a sawtooth and a good filter, and I think that's good enough for me. You know, I might overdrive it a little bit. In this case, this is the fold module here. Right, or I might bring in a whole lot of resonance. And most of those are what I really like to play. Just a nice, simple saw with maybe some chorus, maybe some overdrive and all that kind of stuff. Hey, Garen. Good to see you here. You were faffing about in your studio and you missed everything. Hi. Yeah, I don't know. I was just faffing around too. Had a half hour or so of just kind of playing with this split. Let's see. Looks like we also had Craig come in. Good evening, Craig. And Sean says, honestly, the saw is the classic sound and my one hardware synth is analog. So I argue that less complicated sound can be more expressive. Yeah, I mean, I love the good sound of just a saw through the filter, especially, like I said, when you turn up the reverb and just go crazy. It's one of my favorite things on the wind synth. Yeah, it cuts through nice. I think it was Luke who was saying that sometimes my leads maybe are a little bit too harsh on the high end, and I think maybe over my years I'm not hearing as much as other people. So if sometimes the high end is a little harsh from my stuff, I'm sorry. It seems that I lean that way. Let's see. Garen says, yeah, saws and filters can be big and fat and juicy and expressive, hard to beat. So soft, simpler is better. And Sean says, but the complicated stuff makes great pad when you do the basic lead over it and it sings. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I think we're all just kind of talking here about our things that we already know here about how great the lead sounds can be here. Yeah, I don't know. From the e-piano, electric piano, and the bass here and the lead, it's just hard to beat, really, I think. And I really love going over it. So, yeah, Garen says that I often have a hot brass kind of sound. Yeah, I think that's me leaning into the sawtooth sound a little bit. And I think that high-end buzz, maybe I don't hear as much as the normal person. Let's see. Garen says, you have been a couple of jams when you've had that sound, and I've done a complementary horn sound on the Op 6, and it gets along magic. Yeah, especially on the ambient stuff when we can kind of like layer that medium high register together and kind of come in and out. It's really good. And so, Garen, I was telling them I have the Elgato Stream Deck foot pedal now, and I have 3 buttons, so I can do things like change between scenes here with just my foot, and I can start and stop recordings and stuff now with my feet, which is pretty cool. All right, so looks like we have a couple more people here coming in. We have Asif Stripe. We have Uncle Chrome. Hey guys, we're talking about Fred's feet. Okay. I don't know if you guys saw, but when I'm playing the E piano there, I can actually kind of still play along with the lead. I have to be a little bit careful about how I do my order of playing in order to get that last note to still be the one I want for the melody. So it's a little bit tricky to get out of the muscle memory of just playing keys to having keys with the melody at the same time. But it works really well, I think. And yeah, overall, I'm really falling in love with the electric piano sound here. That's slightly overdriven. It's just such a great sound. Not only a great sound, but a really great sound for the poly aftertouch too. So, yeah, love it. I really wasn't expecting to go on so late, guys, today, but I don't know, kind of fun having a good time here. Well, I wanted to talk about the split here on the instrument. So I have a button here down here. It's just a split, and when I turn that on, it splits the instrument in a split point that I can move back and forth. So in this case, which is really cool. The sustain, though, I only have one sustain pedal. It has the ability to run a double sustain pedal in here, but the one sustain pedal at this time only does to the top split. So in this case, it's to the E piano. Right, so I could set it up where the sustain goes to both if I wanted to, but right now, because I only have the one in the box, I go just to the E piano. Uncle Chrome asked breath controller. Yep. So this tube right here, Uncle Chrome, is breath control, and when I blow into it, it goes into my Euro rack. The Euro rack is the one with the lead sound. And that lead sound is, like I said, in the Eurorack, and it has the Star Lab reverb on it, so it's all there. Man, you guys are still talking about feet. I'm not sure why you'd want to look at my feet. I don't even want to look at my feet. Like I said, this bass, I wish I wanted to go a little bit more different with as far as the P-bass sound. It's a little bit too Seinfeldy for me, so I did have a low pass on it, which kind of helps a little bit, but honestly, I should just spend the money and get a better bass on there, but it comes across okay. Apparently there's some kind of fetish going on with synth players' feet. I mean, to each their own. I don't know. I don't get the feet thing. My wife is over here sitting on the couch, probably looking at me like, what the hell are you guys talking about? So. She says I should show you guys my feet. I don't want to. You guys really want to see feet? There you go. I'm so flexible. Man, oh man. My wife is cracking up. And that's one of the really cool things about the grid that I can do. It is actually super hard to do with a wind controller, is especially when you start to get into the like transpositions, when you start learning patterns on the grid and you can kind of like learn a riff and put it in different keys. It's super hard to do that on like saxophone and flute, and super nice to do with the instrument. You can kind of hear those blips that I'm having. That's because the note priority as I lift up the melody line is still in the lower parts of the electric piano, which is a little hard. Uncle Chrome says Lynn needs a foot version of that instrument, just bigger buttons. It's kind of funny. I thought about building up one of the organ style foot pedals so I can play, bass with my feet. And I started like planning it out, and I ended up wanting to do a grid layout for the foot controller. So I actually have like the wood and everything in order to make like a 4 by, I think it was 4x8 foot pedal with like wooden little pedal guys that you can press down and play chromatically, kind of in the same idea as the instrument. But the switches I got for it was too clicky. They were horrible micro switches that were like click, 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 click all the time, and it was awful. And so to combat that, I put in some orders for some Hall effect sensors so I could do it with magnets and all that. And I actually still have it in a project box, so I can sit there and get the microcontroller and program in a foot controller and try and do stuff with my feet. But it kind of took back priority because I didn't like kind of the way the little foot pedal guys were moving, and I didn't think it would turn out as well as I wanted. So I got a little bit dissuaded, but it was like super funny. I was totally planning on making a grid style foot controller thing for me sitting at this desk, so I could be even more ridiculous and try and play bass with my feet. So I used to really like the electric guitar sound, especially when playing with the bass. But I think I need to work a little more on the electric guitar sound on this. In this case, this is Piano Tech for the acoustic guitar. And I've got a lot of EQ and stuff on there to make it sound less harpy, but it still comes across not as, ballsy as I want from an electric guitar. And maybe I can do a little more in guitar rig and that kind of stuff, but I don't know. Sorry, I was kind of ignoring chat here a little bit. Can't wait for Jeff's toe jams. Yep. We'll see if I get to finishing that controller. It's like I said, it's in the project box. I might get back to it at some point when I get bored. Greg says that was killer. Ace of Stripe. Jeff is shredding amongst all this nonsense. Yeah, I'm just playing along. I'm just playing. All right, Garen is awake and paying attention. And I'm glad you guys are liking it. I will say I was listening to Symptoms of Reality, I think it was 2 days ago while the twins were dancing. And I felt a little bit bad when I think it was Lamont who got the DM about the guy who was a little bit miffed about the bad language and the babies. And just I felt bad that you guys had to deal with that because these are our streams and we're just doing what the fuck we want, right? And some of us are soft-spoken like me, right? And I don't swear too much on the stream, but like in real life, me and the wife swear quite a bit. And so I thought it was really funny because right after you had apologized for swearing, it was like the baby had hit her head on the door jamb a little bit and was like, God damn it, right? And so it was like you on the stream we're talking about the swearing, and my kid, like 2.5 years old over here, is just saying, God damn it and fuck and all this kind of stuff. And if these people don't want to have that streaming while listening to this kind of stuff with their kid, don't fucking put it on, right? But Jesus. So anyway, like I said, I am one of the more probably soft-spoken and easygoing guys. I don't bullshit too much on my stream. I kind of stick to the music and all that kind of stuff. But that's that whole night just cracked me up because, like you're responsible for what you put on the damn channel. But also, I don't know, man. I'm here, and why do I stream at all, right? And the reason that I stream originally was because I was lazy. What I mean is, when I'm playing music, it was becoming a hassle to edit and get everything lined up and all that kind of stuff. And live streaming is a little bit nicer because when you stream and you're doing it, it's done, it's great. The side effect is that we also have this live interaction, which is kind of cool. But the whole reason that I play live is not for the interaction. It's kind of nice, but the whole reason I play live is because I'm lazy. And to that regard, when I'm playing, I'm just playing music, right? And I hate the fucking drama that is around a lot in the synth community on, I don't know, the bullshitty back and forth stuff on the synth channels and all that. I just like making music, man. And I tell my wife, one of the things that I also do is I don't try and chase the algorithm, right? I don't try and make channels, videos for my channel that get more views, right? I just make the stuff that I like to do. And if you guys like it, then you can, keep listening. And if you guys don't like it, and you're like, man, Jeff's blowing and he sucks, you don't have to fucking listen. Because I'm just having fucking fun. Yeah, I don't think I feel bad. I just feel bad that there's guys out there who feel like they have to create that kind of drama from shit that's not real. Yeah, Uncle Chrome says for many years he had an old upright piano that he would just pound on for hours. I've had the little instrument now for just 1 year. I got it last Christmas. And it's really opened me up into jamming a whole lot more. I can play a little bit of piano keys. I can play a little bit of 6-string guitar, kind of camp style. But the instrument is super fucking fun. Let's see. Uncle Crumb said that his grand piano, or his grand two, took all the front wood off and painted the backs of the keys hammers opposite colors. I really love opposite colored key beds, and I wish I have the Matrix Brute, right? And the Matrix Brute is a really great synthesizer. But one of my friends, Mark Steiner, has a Matrix Brute, and his Matrix Brute has inverse keys, and it looks just fucking outstanding, and I wish I had it. But they don't make them except for in batches, and I think not very often, so I don't have the opportunity to buy them, I think, in the last couple of years. Let's see, I'm a little bit behind on the chat here. Let's see, Sean says that the real truth is he has a lot of love for their stuff, and it just works with a funny little title to use, not wrong with... I'm not following what Sean's talking about here, but... Yeah, and Garen said that the piano that he learned on was in kind of rough shape and was hard and expensive, and he finally had to let it go. No place for one now. Yeah, like a full keyboard, full piano is something that is very, very rare these days. I think from what I was reading, and the people who do have them and kind of like don't want them in their house anymore can't even find people to take them. When I was growing up, I didn't have a piano in the house, but my parents were divorced, and my stepmom had a piano at her place. But honestly, when I was a kid, I I wouldn't hardly ever play with it because she was a pretty decent pianist and I wasn't very good. And so I wish maybe that I had spent more time as a kid playing on that upright piano that my existed at my dad's house. But like I said, I played a lot of woodwinds and stuff, so I got plenty of music in my youth. But the upright piano is one that I had the opportunity to play more of and didn't. Guys, it is 10:45. I think I'm gonna get going. It's been over an hour. I was only planning on being here for a half hour. Since my blood stuff happened a little over a week ago, today was actually the first day I went back to work, and I work 12-hour shifts from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I can't stay up too much late because I gotta get up early. All right, guys, and at this point, I'll probably call it here. Fucking electric piano sounds so good. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out with me. Quite a lot of you guys tonight, so super fun. Yeah, appreciate you guys listening. You guys have a great one. Garen, Uncle Chrome, Laren, Lamont, Lamar, Sean, Craig. I think gotta be missing one. I think Asif was on here. Holy crap, that is a lot of little bouncing icons. Yeah, so real quick. The chat program that I'm using is Social Stream Ninja. Same guys who do Video Ninja. They have a Social Ninja stream that does the chat overlay in OBS. And they have the emoji wall, so when you guys have all the little emojis on there, it puts it all on there and it bounces all around, and it's super fun. But I love it for OBS. It's super fun. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you.